we've been talking about contract extensions, and then we've also been talking about for a while people getting paid the money that they deserve to be getting paid. The WNBA, the CBA, they are going back and forth with the owners at this current moment, and the WNBA players, they feel like they should be
pay these women their fucking money, man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sis. No, go ahead.
So at the end of the day, there was a few sites that came out last night saying that Angel Reese said, and I quote, hold on, what she said. Let me pull up the quote exactly. One of the first things, it was like Angel Reese said, "We deserve more. If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out." Number one, that wasn't even what she said. It was clipped and reposted by a fake media site, and then it caught on to as wildfire. And then everyone knew that she said something completely different. I'm hearing this, and if that's the case, this. You get what I'm saying? More, she said on her podcast, and it was more or less a hypothetical than a real statement. And then you should see the lines that came out today. Angel Reese takes on the WNBA. Angel Reese dares the WNBA not to meet her demands. What else is the other one? Angel Reese takes on Yahoo Sports over fake quotes. And the thing is, people like Angel Reese, they are hell bent on misunderstanding this woman. Hell bent. She can't have a moment of even saying that unless, without it getting misconstrued. Now, do I believe that the WNBA players should be making more money? We've said this for years and years and years on this podcast. We've said that now that women's sports have gotten starting to get that notoriety off the backs of a Caitlin Clark, off the backs of an Angel Reese, off the backs of these women, you pay them more. And the thing is, somebody has to be that advocate to step up and say we need to get paid more. You get what I'm saying? And obviously, Angel Reese is not the right skin color for her to be able to say that. And that is what these ultra-conservative news sites are kind of trying to say. They clearly manipulated a quote, which I've been seeing a lot of that more recently. I'm seeing a lot of that more recently since the transition to this new administration. Am I bugging or am I right?
No, you're right. You're right, because this new administration never liked the media to begin with. They always wanted to control the media. That was one of said new administration's talking points from the last time said person was in office. So I agree with you on that.
The actual quote, just to make sure that you got most of it right. Tay, you are right. She said, I've got to get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, quote, if y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out. That's a possibility for real. So she didn't say we sitting out, we striking, but she's saying she's hearing that. And you know what? I'll say it straight out. I would not be opposed to them striking if they feel like they need to. You are 100% right. These women, based on what they've done, the WNBA has been around for a lot longer than a lot of people actually realize. And there are a lot of great women that have played in the WNBA that had to essentially work 2-3 damn jobs just to support themselves, even though they are professional athletes under the NBA banner, right? I'm not saying for the NBA to give them NBA money, to take money from the NBA and put it in the WNBA. But what I am saying is you talk about wanting this product to be successful. These women have done the best that they can to make it as successful as possible with their play without having the support of the league to a degree, because you still, these women are not just playing basketball. These women are fighting against, archaic, chauvinistic viewpoints, of patriarchal viewpoints of what a professional athlete should be, what a professional athlete should look like, how basketball should be played by a bunch of people who can't lace up a goddamn pair of sneakers and play basketball with these women, right? Because, Country Bumpkin on their couch in fucking all Kansas, who ain't never played a lick of basketball in their life, wants to tell women who have played basketball their entire lives how things should be done and how they should look. You got a bunch of men who don't want to watch a league where they think everybody's a lesbian. You know, so you got problems about people's perceived sexuality. It doesn't matter. Guess what? There is a woman who, if I'm not mistaken, does identify as LGBTQ, who just retired and will go down as one of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball, man or woman, in Diana Taurasi. Okay, like it just there's no.
Who else? Her and goddamn Candace Parker.
Yep, Sue Bird will go down as one of the greatest players. You want to talk about this? And he has said it publicly. The Hall of Famer Reggie Miller will gladly go on the record.
Yes,
and tell you that on any given day, his sister is better than him.
Yes, always. That's all we had. And before the WNBA, before we heard of like Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie, all we had was Cheryl Miller. That's all we had as a girl growing up.
Listen, and I am glad that a woman like Nancy Lieberman got a chance to play for a very short period of time because, like you said, Cheryl Miller, Nancy Lieberman, there are hundreds and thousands of women whose names will never get written in the annals of WNBA history because it didn't exist when they were out here balling. But we have an ability to have this league. This league can be great. Listen, there are a lot of women's sports that are out here that outperform men's. I'm sorry. When's the last time, that people cared more about the United States men's national soccer team more than they cared about the women's national soccer team? Because last I checked, the US
Never.
Never.
One World Cup where people got a little happy back in the mid-90s, where people got a little happy. But the women's national soccer team has been killing it. Problem is, there's a bunch of men trying to dictate a women's sport. The WNBA is exciting. I love watching women's college basketball.
Women. You just said it. Even better. Women's college basketball has outperformed men's college basketball in ratings, I believe, the last 2 or 3 years.
The biggest story in men's college basketball is something that people aren't even really talking about. How many people actually realize St. John's is on the run of a lifetime? And people ain't really talking about this. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, St. John's being this good would have been top story on every sportscast.
But you know the college basketball story that's in there right now?
Cooper Flag.
No, not just Cooper Flag. Yeah, because it's the
Shout out
good
to
old
St.
boys.
John's. That's my alma mater, though. Red Storm, Johnny
Shout
for life, baby.
St. John's. But they're talking about Juju Watkins.
Yep.
They're talking about her. If they're talking about basketball, if it's not Cooper Flag, it's Juju Watkins.
Or Kiyomi McMillan is starting to get a little bit of a buzz, too. That's my girl.
Yep.
Shout out to Kiyomi.
So, yeah. So, like, they're not – they need to pay these women, right?
Yes.
You said something about –
they need childcare. They need to give them help with childcare. They need to give them a salary where these women don't have to go and play overseas and have to possibly deal with what Brittany Griner had to deal with simply because she is just a black woman trying to make a living in her life, a black LGBTQ plus person. Okay, like they need to be paid. You do not see NBA players who need to, in the offseason, go play overseas in order to make their money. The last guy on an NBA bench makes enough money that he could sit back for the rest of the offseason and not lift a damn finger.
Mm-hmm.
But these women have to spend their off seasons going overseas to countries that don't have protections for them, to countries that don't care about them, to countries that will easily put them in jail or worse, put their lives in danger.
If they
And
breathe
so
the
they
wrong
can make
way.
enough money to survive. That is not fair. These women generate millions and millions and millions of dollars for their owners. They generate millions and millions of dollars for their cities. Okay. for their arenas, because I guarantee you the arena where the Chicago Sky play is loving the amount of money they make when the Chicago Sky are playing.
Shoot, I give you a bit better one. The NBA or no sports league expands unless they have the money to expand. The WNBA has now 2 new teams with a possibility of 4 more teams being added. 2 of those teams being revived from WNBA's past. So in order to do that, money has to be had. You
Arena deals, sponsors.
Yep, all of that. Money has to be put someplace for these things to happen. Nobody can tell me with a straight face and sit here and be like, oh, the W is not making any money. You're full of shit and you're being sexist, honestly. The WNBA has been making money. It is not making NBA money, but the NBA right now is not making NBA money because people don't really feel like watching shit. So, with the money that the NBA
all the way off,
bruh, with the money that the NBA is making, right? Because if we are a parent company of something, right? Let's just say, for example, right? If we were a parent company of a different brand and that brand was struggling, right? And we had enough money to put money into a brand, we would put money into that brand to elevate it, right? Because when that comes up, when that elevates, and we all elevate, more money is made. No, we're just gonna sit there and be like, y'all get down there. No.
And they just got in July, in July of last year, the WNBA made a big deal at announcing an 11-year media rights deal that featured partnerships with Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBC Universal, the owners of Peacock. The deal, 11 years, valued at $2.2 billion, coming out to about $200 million per year, with future agreements with additional partners that could bring the league's media deal closer to $3 billion. You were getting close to $3 billion over the course of 11 years from the biggest media companies out here, and these women can't get paid.
You're just telling me that a woman, a WNBA player, cannot get a $500,000 salary. That is the end of the bench. That is the minimum, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, that's the minimum salary for a player in the NBA. You're saying that we cannot pay a woman $500,000.
And you know what the funny thing is? Salaries isn't even the number one thing that they're fighting for.
I'm sure. I know it's not.
ESPN actually did a poll of WNBA players when talking to them about what they're looking for in the next CBA. The top 2 things that WNBA players are fighting for in the next CBA are pensions for former and current players and more support for players with children. Those are the 2 biggest things that they are talking about, that they are concerned about. After that, it's practice facilities, because, by the way, the WNBA does not have dedicated practice facilities.
No, they don't.
Okay, so that's another thing. And then it's wages. To just to point it out, the maximum salary was $241,984 for players in 2024, while the minimum salary for players with 0 to 2 years of service was $64,154. I make more as a full-time educator than a WNBA player makes in a year playing basketball. And listen, I don't care what anyone says about, oh, it's just a game. It's just a game where you pick up a ball. They are top-tier athletes who are working at a much harder pace and doing things that I cannot do. They are specialized in their field the same way that I, as a math teacher with X amount of years of experience, can demand a certain level of salary because I am specialized in my field. These women are so extremely specialized in their field, yet they make less than I. In fact, that starting salary is less than I believe the starting salary for a New York City teacher just entering with, I believe, their master's degree.
Yeah, or coming from the teaching
Yep.
the teaching fellowship.
Yep.
I work in the airlines, right? I have people in the airlines who've worked in the airlines for 10 years, maybe 5 years, who make more than a WNBA player.
I believe that teachers should make way more money anyway. I do.
Absolutely. Teachers
believe
need to make way more money.
I believe educators, first responders, even police. I really do believe that they do not get paid. EMTs, police, first responders, teachers, nurses. Nurses are starting to kind of get up.
Firefighters too.
Yeah,
firefighters definitely.
Yeah. I don't believe that they get paid enough.
No, in New York City, I believe for the 2 years that you're in the academy and like the first 2 to 3 years of like full-time police work, you barely are making $50,000, $60,000 a year.